Listen carefully, because I'm not here to waste your time. I'm here to challenge how you've been thinking about success. You've probably been told that successful people are just lucky, that they had wealthy parents, that they were born with a gift you don't have, that they were in the right place at the right time. But what if I told you that's only half the story? See, we all know someone smarter than us who isn't doing much with their life. We all know someone with more talent but no results. And we definitely know people who started with more than us, and somehow we passed them by. So the question isn't who has more advantages. The question is, what do successful people do differently? And why does it work? Now, don't just hear this, feel it. There's something you're not doing. Something they are doing. And it's not what you think. It's not about grinding 24/7. It's not about being a workaholic. It's not even about having the best education or the most followers. It's about how they think. It's about how they move. It's about what they do when no one's watching. You ever wonder why two people can go through the same school, grow up in the same town, even work the same job, and yet one becomes extraordinary while the other stays stuck? That's not coincidence. That's not luck. That's behavior. And behavior, unlike talent, is a choice. That's the secret. Successful people don't rely on feelings. They rely on habits. They rely on values. They rely on a code of conduct that they hold themselves accountable to, even when nobody's clapping for them. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine two people, same age, same job, same dreams. One says, "I'll do it when I feel ready." The other says, "I'll do it now and learn along the way." Guess who moves ahead? The one who didn't wait for perfect condition. Because successful people understand. Listen carefully now, because this is where most people miss it. They want the results, but they won't change the routine. They want success, but they won't sacrifice comfort. They want to grow, but they keep watering dead soil, and then they wonder why nothing's changing. Successful people do the opposite. They question their comfort zone. They evaluate their circle. They protect their peace. Most importantly, they treat every single day like a piece of the puzzle to their greater purpose. Let me tell you something real. You don't need a miracle to win. You need a mindset that refuses to lose. You need a commitment that doesn't quit just because the mood changes. You need to stop chasing inspiration and start chasing discipline. Because inspiration may get you started, but only discipline will keep you going. Now, I know this ain't easy to hear, but I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to wake you up. Your time is valuable. So if you're still listening, that means something in your soul is hungry for more. Hungry for that breakthrough. Hungry for that difference. Hungry for a life that finally matches the potential inside. So listen carefully. Not just with your ears, but with your heart. Because what you're about to learn next will challenge everything you thought you knew about success. Not just what successful people have, but what they do. And why it works. Keep watching, because we're just getting started. Let's make something clear right now. Motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. You can't build a skyscraper on a foundation of emotion. You build it on commitment, on structure, on steel. That's what discipline is. It's steel in your soul. Now, motivation feels good. It's exciting. It gives you a rush. It's that moment when you watch a powerful video or hear a fire speech and you feel like you could run through a wall. But here's the truth. Motivation fades. It's like a spark. Bright, hot, explosive, but gone in seconds if there's no fuel to keep it burning. That fuel is discipline. Ask yourself, how many times have you started something, felt pumped, told everyone about it, and then 2 weeks later, it's collecting dust? The gym membership, the YouTube channel, the business idea, the new routine. Why does that happen? Because when the emotion dies, most people stop. But successful people, they keep going because they've trained themselves to show up regardless of how they feel. Discipline is about showing up when it's hard, when you're tired, when nobody's clapping, when the results are slow. Discipline is brushing your teeth even when you're not smiling yet. It's sowing seeds even when the ground looks dry. You see, successful people understand that feelings are fleeting, but patterns are powerful. They don't wake up and ask, do I feel like it today? They wake up and say, it's time to move. Let's go. It's not robotic, that's purpose. Now let me break this down practically. Motivation is the spark that starts the fire, but discipline is the wood that keeps it alive. You want to write a book? You better write even when your brain says you have nothing. You want to lose weight? You better move your body even on the days you feel lazy. You want to build a brand or a business? You better create when no one's watching, and especially when no one's praising. Because consistency compounds. That's where the real power lies. Here's something powerful to remember. Successful people design routines that don't require emotion to execute. They build systems. They set alarms. They organize their day. They create discipline habits that don't ask for permission from their mood. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't wait for motivation to brush your teeth, do you? You just do it because it's a habit. It's part of who you are. That's what discipline becomes. It turns necessary action into automatic behavior. And get this, discipline actually produces motivation, not the other way around. When you work out on the days you don't feel like it, you feel proud. That pride becomes momentum. When you get up early, even though it was hard, your brain registers a win. That win becomes motivation. So don't wait for motivation to show up. Create it through disciplined action. Look, I'm not saying it's easy, but I am saying it's worth it. You want to do what successful people do? Successful people are, and they are disciplined before anything else. They don't make excuses. They don't blame the weather, the season, or the mood. They understand that every step forward, no matter how small, is still progress. So, stop chasing the high. Start building the habit. And remember, it's not what you do once that changes your life. It's what you do every single day, even when you don't feel like it. Have you ever tried to hit a target you couldn't see? It's almost impossible, right? Well, that's how most people live their lives, blindfolded, hoping something good happens, wandering from job to job, dream to dream, relationship to relationship with no clear direction. But successful people, they move with intention. They know exactly what they're aiming for. That's the power of clarity of vision. See, before you can have progress, you need a picture, a mental image of where you're headed. And I'm not just talking about vague goals like, I want to be rich or I want to be successful. That's not a vision. That's a wish. A vision is detailed. A vision has depth. A vision is something you can describe, define, and defend. Successful people take time to sit with themselves and answer hard questions. What do I want my life to look like 5 years from now? What legacy do I want to leave behind? What does success actually mean for me? Not for my parents, not for society, but for me? When they have those answers, their choices become easier. They know what to say no to. They know what to sacrifice for. They don't get distracted by everything that glitters because they already know what gold looks like to them. And here's the secret. When your vision is clear, your energy becomes focused. And when your energy is focused, your progress becomes fast. Most people are busy, but not productive. They work all day, but accomplish nothing that truly matters. Why? Because they haven't defined what matters. They're climbing a ladder that's not even leaning on the right wall. Clarity of vision is what separates movement from achievement. You can run in circles and still go nowhere. But when your vision is clear, even small steps take you forward. Successful people wake up and already know what their day is about. They're not checking social media first thing in the morning. They're checking their goals. They're not reacting to life. They're building it brick by brick, decision by decision. It's like a GPS. If you don't type in a destination, the system can't help you. But the moment you get specific, I want to go there, everything starts to align. The turns become clear. The road becomes manageable. Even when you get off track, you can reroute. But you can't reroute a journey you never started. That's why clarity is so powerful. It gives your talent a direction. It gives your effort a purpose. It gives your time a return. Let me give you something real. A confused mind wastes energy. But a clear mind creates momentum. So here's the challenge. Stop hoping your life will get better and start designing what better looks like. Write it down. Make it vivid. Feel it in your spirit. Because once your vision is real on the inside, it starts showing up on the outside. Successful people don't wait for opportunity. They prepare for it, and preparation starts with vision. You can't live a life of greatness if you haven't defined what greatness means to you. So be bold enough to dream it. Be clear enough to plan it, and be disciplined enough to build it. Because when you know exactly what you want, you stop settling for everything you don't. Failure, it's a word that makes most people shrink. But successful people, they don't fear failure. They leverage it. They understand something most people never learn. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the path to success. They fail, and then they move forward. That's what it means to fail forward. Most people let failure define them. They try something, it doesn't work, and they quit. They get rejected once and they stop applying. They post one video, get a few views, and delete the channel. They see failure as a signal that they're not good enough. But successful people see failure differently. They see it as feedback. Not a dead end, but a detour. Not a defeat, but a lesson. They ask themselves, what did I learn? How can I get better? What needs to change the next time? And then they try again. Wiser, sharper, stronger. Because every failure leaves behind clues for the comeback. That's what separates the successful from the stuck. Think about any great name in history. Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, Thomas Edison, Michael Jordan. You know what they all have in common? They were told no, they were counted out, they were doubted, but they kept showing up. Edison made 1,000 unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb. You know what he said? I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. That mindset is what success is built on. See, failure builds character in a way that success never can. Success feeds your ego. Failure feeds your growth. And if you're too scared to fail, you'll never move. You'll play it safe. You'll settle. And you'll wonder 10 years from now what could have happened if you had just tried one more time. Let me tell you the truth. The road to success is paved with broken attempts, embarrassing moments, setbacks, rejections, and do-overs. It's not always clean. It's necessary. Because every failure is proof that you had the courage to take a shot. And the more shots you take, the better your aim gets. Now, failing forward doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean repeating the same mistake over and over. It means falling, reflecting, and adjusting. It means turning the pain into progress. Successful people build resilience through failure. They don't run from the hard lessons. They embrace them. They know that their next level is hiding behind their last disappointment. You want to grow? Get uncomfortable. You want to win? Learn to lose the right way. Don't let failure silence you. Let it shape you. Here's a mindset shift. When something doesn't go your way, don't say, why me? Say, what's this teaching me? Because when you fail forward, you don't leave empty-handed. You leave equipped. You leave prepared. You leave one step closer to win. And maybe, just maybe, the failure you're afraid of is the very thing that will unlock the version of you that's been waiting to be born. So stop running from failure. Start walking through it. And remember, failure is not the finish line. It's the hallway that leads you to the door of greatness. If you want to understand someone's future, you don't need to read their mind. You just need to study their morning. Because how a person starts their day determines how they live their day. And successful people, they master the morning. See, most people start their day by default. They hit the snooze button 2 or 3 times. They scroll through their phone for 30 minutes. They check social media before they even check in with themselves. And by the time they actually get out of bed, they're already reacting to the world late, tired, scattered, and mentally behind. Successful people are different. They live by design, not by default. They understand that the morning is not just a time, it's a territory. And you either claim it, or the world claims it for you. Mastering the morning doesn't mean waking up at 4 a.m. just to say you did. It means waking up with purpose, with intention, and with a plan to set the tone for the day. The morning is your mental gym, your soul's reset button, your daily strategy session. And if you neglect it, the rest of your day suffers. Let's talk about what successful people actually do when they wake up. They don't check notifications first. They check themselves. Some meditate, some pray, some journal, some plan out their top 3 priorities. But whatever they do, it's rooted in clarity, not chaos. They hydrate their body. They move. They spend time in silence. They feed their mind with something intentional. whether it's reading, listening to a podcast, or speaking affirmations out loud. They don't just let the day happen to them. They take command of it. And here's why this works. Your mind is most sensitive in the first 20 minutes after you wake up. That means whatever you give it in that window becomes the operating system for the rest of your day. So if you start with negativity, noise, and distractions, guess what you carry all day? Stress, scattered energy, emotional fatigue. But if you start with clarity, calm, and control, you carry strength, focus, and momentum. And let's be real, it's not about being perfect every morning. It's about having a rhythm. A routine that trains your brain and body to expect productivity, to expect peace, to expect power. Think of the morning like a runway. You can't launch a plane on a runway full of potholes and traffic. You need a clear space, a smooth surface, and a direction. That's what your morning should be, a smooth launch for your day. Let me give it to you straight. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you repeat that for enough days, you start to win the week. And winning weeks become winning months. That's how momentum is built. That's how lives change. Don't underestimate the small habits. It's not just about waking up early. It's about waking up on purpose. Even 30 minutes of focused time in the morning can transform how you handle problems, how you talk to people, how you carry yourself. So tomorrow morning, before the world pulls at you, own your time. Don't grab your phone. Grab your thoughts. Don't scroll. Sit still. Don't react. Decide. Because successful people know the morning is not just the beginning of the day. It's the beginning of the next level. You want to know one of the biggest secrets to success? It's not just about what you do life with. Because energy is contagious, influence is powerful, and you become like the people you spend the most time with. Successful people understand this. That's why they don't just let anyone into their inner circle. They guard it like treasure. They're intentional about who gets access to their time, their mind, and their space. Look around at your 5 closest relationships. The people you talk the most, text the most, hang out with the most. Now ask yourself, do they challenge you or distract you? Do they build you or break you? Do they speak life into your vision or drain the fire from your ambition? Here's the truth. Here's the truth. You're either in a circle that's pushing you forward or pulling you backwards. There is no neutral. Successful people don't tolerate energy vampires. They don't hang with constant complainers, gossipers, or small thinkers. Not because they're arrogant, but because they're focused. They know their dreams are fragile in the beginning, and one wrong voice, one wrong influence can delay progress for years. Your environment matters. You can't grow in soil that chokes your roots. You can't fly in a cage made of other people's fears. That's why successful people curate their circle. They surround themselves with people who think bigger, live louder, love deeper, and aim higher. They find mentors, peers, and even rivals who inspire growth. People who call out their laziness, who challenge their excuses, who celebrate their wins without envy. And sometimes that means letting go. Letting go of childhood friendships that no longer align. Letting go of relationships built on history, not harmony. Letting go of people who love the old version of you but can't handle the one you're becoming. It hurts. But elevation requires separation. Because the higher you climb, the lighter you have to travel. Successful people understand this. Not everyone can go with you, and that's okay. They don't hate. They don't cut people off with pride. They just create healthy distance with purpose. Because their mission matters too much to get caught in drama, distractions, or dead conversation. Now, this doesn't mean you only hang out with people richer or more successful than you. It means you seek out alignment. People with values, energy, and focus that match your direction. People who pray when you're weak. People who remind you of your vision when you forget. People who clap when you win and help you when you lose. Because success is not a solo mission. Even the strongest leaders needed strong circles. Think about it. Even the best athletes have a team. Even the brightest minds have coaches, support, and collaboration. So ask yourself, does your circle reflect your goals or distract from them? And more importantly, are you the kind of person others should want in their circle? Because guarding your circle isn't just about protection. It's about reflection. You attract who you are. So if you want better company, become a better version of yourself. Surround yourself with people who push you to grow, not stay the same. Who remind you of your greatness when you forget. Who challenge your comfort zone, not just comfort your ego. Because at the end of the day, your circle shapes your standard. And successful people, they keep that standard high. There's a dangerous trap that comes with success. It's not failure, it's comfort. The moment you think you've arrived, the moment you start believing your own hype, that's when growth slows down. That's when greatness slips through your fingers. But successful people, they stay humble and hungry, humble enough to know they don't know everything. Hungry enough to keep chasing the next level, even after a win. Humility doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking beyond yourself. It means you can celebrate your progress without becoming arrogant. You can lead without needing to be worshipped. You can learn from anyone because you know everyone has something to teach. The most dangerous thing in the world is a little success. Why? Because it convinces average minds to stop, to settle, to protect instead of pursue. But successful people understand that success is not a destination. It's a discipline, a way of living, a hunger you feed daily. They never say, "I've made it." They say, "How can I get better?" They don't compete with others. They compete with yesterday's version of themselves. Because real hunger is not loud, it's consistent. It's what keeps you waking up early when you could sleep in. It's what keeps you studying when no one's watching. It's what keeps you practicing after the audience has left. And here's the thing about hunger. You can't fake it. People can see it in your work, in your effort, in your results. The moment you get too proud to learn, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, your influence begins to fade. Successful people study the game like they're just starting, even if they're on top. They ask questions. They listen more than they speak. They stay teachable. Because they know this truth. Pride builds walls, but humility builds bridges. And when you're hungry, truly hungry, you don't wait for opportunities to come to you. You create them. You knock on doors. You prepare even when no one's watching. You invest in your craft like your future depends on it, because it does. Let me make it plain. There are no champions without discipline, no legends without work ethic, and no long-term greatness without humility plus hunger. Success is rented, and rent is due every day. So no matter how much you've accomplished, stay hungry. No matter how high you rise, stay grounded. Never let applause turn into entitlement. Never let recognition turn into complacency. Stay curious. Stay willing. Stay a student of your calling. The greats don't just chase trophies, they chase impact. They chase purpose. They chase mastery. They're never satisfied, not because they're ungrateful, but because they understand that greatness is a lifelong journey, not a one-time event. So check your heart. Are you still chasing the fire, or are you coasting on fumes? Because the world doesn't need more people who used to be passionate. It needs more people who are consistently committed. Every season, every level, every day. So walk with your head high, but your spirit low. Be proud, but not prideful. Be confident, but not careless. Because the moment you stop being hungry is the moment someone else who still is catches up. And if you want to stay successful, remember this. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay rising.